Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome if you are new. This will be your second quarter moon energy update and reading. Thank you guys in advance for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, all the things. All the things. Alright, let's get straight into it. So the second quarter moon starts Sunday, March 17th at 12:11 a.m. with the moon entering Cancer at 5:40 a.m. And this is also St. Patrick's Day. We got a lot going on this week, by the way. It's St. Patrick's Day on the 17th. And then this will go through the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th. Okay, so from March 17th through the 25th. And I'll be creating a separate video for the full moon lunar eclipse. And I'll also be doing another video for the solar eclipse that we have coming up April 8th. I'm so geeked. I'm so excited for that. Anyway, so in this video, what we're going to talk about, we've got the Celtic tree of the month Alder on the 18th. We've got Australia, aka Spring Equinox, and International Astrology Day on the same day that the sun enters into Aries, March 19th. And then Mars enters Pisces on March 22nd, followed by Palm Sunday, which is the day right before the lunar eclipse. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of go through this a little quickly and then we'll get to the reading. The 17th, St. Patrick's Day. I just wanted to share some fun facts that I came across about St. Patrick's Day. Some facts that are, some of them might be known, a lot of them might be lesser known. And the first one is St. Patrick wasn't actually Irish. Despite being the patron saint of Ireland, St. Patrick was born in Britain, either in Scotland or in Wales. Accounts tend to vary on that. And his parents were both Roman citizens. And his mother gave birth to him in 385 AD. Okay. And slavery is actually what brought St. Patrick to Ireland. Legend has it that as a teenager, St. Patrick was kidnapped by a pirate raiding party and sold into slavery in Ireland. And as a slave, he looked after and herded a bunch of sheep for many years before he fled to a monastery in England. And then while he was there, he became this devout follower of Christianity and ordained a bishop, in which then he returned to Ireland as a missionary. The shamrock was an Irish symbol said to have been popularized, right, by St. Patrick. And as the stories go, St. Patrick supposedly used the iconic shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity while preaching. So each leaf represented Christianity's Holy Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And it was a symbol that showed how they could be three different spiritual entities and yet part of the same whole. And St. Patrick actually wore blue, not green. Although everyone's kind of like expected to wear green on St. Patrick's Day, all of the surviving artworks of St. Patrick actually show him wearing blue robes. And then St. Patrick actually probably didn't drive all the snakes out of Ireland. One of the most popular myths about the Irish saint is that he rid the country of snakes. And we know now that snakes, equals, like the Kundalini energy or the energy of the Eastern, the pagan. It's the energy that they as bringing this new religion in, they wanted to get rid of the snakes, right? However, modern science has pretty much, ruined that belief for everyone that it was actually literal. It was more metaphoric, right? It's the eagle versus the snake. If you know, you know. So very interesting how that metaphor still lives today, and we really see it now in the era that we're living in, with this like resurrection of the old religion, of the old ways of believing, um, and there were no snakes. They don't think there was actually any snakes to begin with. There's no fossils to disprove the theory. And then there was just a couple more. Patrick was not given Saint Patrick. Patrick was not Saint Patrick's given name. His name was actually Maewyn Succat. Maewyn Succat. And it wasn't until he became a priest that he adopted the new name Patrick after Patricius, which relates to the Latin root meaning father. And St. Patrick's Day is held the day he passed away. And in the Catholic tradition, the day a saint passes away is considered a holy day to celebrate their ascension into heaven. And St. Patrick passed away on March 17th and continues to be when St. Patrick's is held annually. Another fun fact is St. Patrick technically isn't a saint. And while he's given the title in popular lore, St. Patrick was actually never officially canonized as a saint. However, many still recognize his contributions to the Catholic Church, as he remains a spiritual figure to this day. And I think that just really, it's because he had a big role in, getting rid of all of the so-called snakes, or anyone basically that didn't believe what he believed, or wasn't, to the Catholic, what they say they need to be, those that didn't want to transform, I can't think of the word, to be, to have this new religion. Okay, the word is escaping me, but you know what I mean. And then I actually found quite a bit. I just want to share two more, or just one more I'll share, about drowning the shamrock, which is about drinking, right? It's said to have started with St. Patrick. The tradition of drinking to celebrate St. Patrick's Day is said to have started with the saint himself, who announced that everyone should have a drop of the hard stuff after this innkeeper was less than forthcoming with a bottle of whiskey. So he probably cut him off and gave him like the less hard stuff. He was probably intoxicated and talking stupid. He was probably really passionate about, what he believed. But also probably, he was taking out, they were taking out this old, so he probably had a lot of grief, a lot of guilt, a lot of shit, so it doesn't surprise me that he drank a lot. And there was actually a brief period, I guess, where drinking on St. Patrick's Day was actually banned. But obviously the tradition has since returned in full force. So I think that's enough about St. Patrick's Day. Whether you celebrate or not, completely up to you. But I just like to share, the different insights on the different beliefs, the different religions, the different holidays, and so on. The next day I want to talk about is the 18th, which is the Celtic tree of the month alder. And the alder tree was a symbol of the cycle of life, death, from birth to death. It's and the connection between the alder and death, kind of led the tree to being this symbol of grief. But alder represents enthusiasm and bravery. And the word for altar is derived from a word meaning blood, which refers to the red sap that the tree produces when it's cut. And the alder was believed by the Druids to link both the male and the female principles, helping to create balance between the two within each individual. It's also associated with courage and represents the evolving of the spirit. Um, and yeah, it's considered to be this tree of death and of resurrection. And um, the the alder is actually a very protected tree. It's a very water loving, water resistant tree. So it's actually a very it was very important for certain things. The alder is a fairy tree, sacred to Bran, and therefore, oracular in nature, and often used for divination. And medicinally, it would have been used to rid people of fleas and boils. And in Irish legend, the first human male was created from the alder, and the first female was created from Rowan. And so it's this somber, decadus tree with a very dark bark, and like I said, it's water loving and most comfortable around the lowland rivers and streams, often in company of aspens, poplars, and willows. And like the willow, the alder sprouts from a stump, which allows this tree to regenerate after heavy flooding. So there's that the idea of death and rebirth, and there in general, the alder individuals, so those born under the alder tree, this next, from the 18th of March through, what is it, the 15th of April, alder individuals are powerful and adventurous people, prepared to make their own way in the world, right? Often leaving friends and family behind. They possess a great deal of courage and make for wonderful allies, but usually prefer to, fight their own battles. And they have a restless spirit, and on occasion they can be, a little foolhardy in pursuits due probably to their sense of adventure. They're also very competitive by nature, likely to do everything to the limit of their being, right? But often direct their energies entirely for the good of others, sometimes to their own detriment. Older people are inclined to break down barriers and explore new territory. And this sense of enthusiasm and bravery makes for excellent leaders. And that's a big theme that we're going to be seeing moving forward this next month and a half, is because with this Aries energy as well, lots of fiery kind of energy. The alder individual has this well-honed sense of humor, and might even play the clown when in the midst of a group. They're extremely physical people, full of energy, self-reliant. Alders enjoy risk-taking, often tenacious workers. So more of that fiery, motivated energy. Also affectionate and gentle and charming and usually accommodating, and they inspire great loyalty in others. They could be magnificent as entrepreneurs, maybe even flamboyant and frequently attracted to perhaps dangerous occupations. In friendship, their personal ego rides high, but they possess a need for recognition, which often can make them vulnerable, right? They're great competitors, but if on the losing end, they might have the tendency to quit and try something else instead. If an alder can be convinced to channel his or her energy into humanitarian causes, then he or she will be the type of person who will not easily be able to be forgotten. Psychologically, the alder is uncomplicated and will usually express any opinion quite openly. This passionate nature and this inherent desire for love, they're apt to marry quickly, but usually make better sweethearts than they do spouses, given their need for personal freedom. And then on the 19th, pretty big day, we have Ostara, and aka spring equinox. And spring equinox is the time at which the sun crosses the plane of the equator towards the relevant hemisphere, making night and day equal length. Okay, and in cultures around the world, the spring equinox represents a time of renewal and fertility and rebirth. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I had to stop the video. I completely forgot. I am babysitting today, and so they came in the door, and I I think I remember where I was. I know we were talking about spring equinox. So just real quick, I think I recapped it, but or I think I talked about it, but I just want to recap. Spring equinox is the time that's associated with renewal and fertility and rebirth. Okay, so there's that energy again of death and rebirth. And in agricultural societies, the spring equinox marked the start of the planting season, when crops are grown and farmers begin, preparing for the coming season. And then on that same day, we also have the sun moving into Aries. Okay, so sun in Aries is more that fiery, passionate. People with sun in Aries are direct and straightforward. And being that the sun's moving into Aries, this is the collective energy. Okay, so direct, straightforward, uncomplicated, and it's this energy of leadership, right? Sun in Aries has the ability to show the way and perhaps even to influence others. There's this strong sense of duty and honesty. Sun in Aries is bold and exciting and spontaneous, and said to, since the sun shares a friendly relationship with Mars, the position of the sun in Aries is held to bring positive results. The ability to show the way, right? This strong sense of duty and honesty. And the sun feels the most powerful and strongest in Aries. Aries is ruled by fiery Mars too, so Aries has double the firepower and is a cardinal sign, the leader of the fire element, and the leader of the zodiac. It's the first sign in the zodiac. So astrologically, Aries is the most powerful sign of the zodiac. Aries individuals are often characterized as bold, assertive, action-orientated, right? They prefer to face challenges head-on and might not always openly display their emotions. However, it doesn't mean that they're devoid of feelings or that they don't experience deep emotions. They just don't really have a tendency always to show it, or to display it. Aries energy tends to run hot. It can be impulsive and direct. It's the planet of drive and desire. And the fact that Mars shares a name with the god of war can give the impression that Aries is somehow like warlike or particularly aggressive, but it's not necessarily true. So a lot of passion, a lot of fire, new beginnings. And then on the 23rd, we have, the 22nd, I skipped one. The 22nd, we have the Mars is moving into Pisces at 7:47 p.m. Mars in Pisces is the champion of the underdog and the forsaken. And these natives can also seem, a little rudderless at times, or take this passive approach to situations. You never express, the negative traits of Mars and Pisces is you might not express genuine ideas and or have problems like going with the flow. There could be this abstinence from making decisions for yourself and for other people, and instead, there's this feeling of needing to let things unfold naturally. Okay. There's this energy that could be like a little bit perplexed, but you'll be able to determine what's appropriate for you. The power of Mars in Pisces is creative expression, right? Mars fuels passion and drive, while Pisces fosters imagination and intuition, right? And this combination can lead to, very powerful, unique, creative expression, particularly in artistic fields like music or dance or visual arts. But like I said, just make sure that you let yourself go with the flow and that you are expressing genuine ideas. Okay. And then we have Purium, which I actually had to look up because I had never heard of it before, but it's on the calendar for the 23rd. But Purium, and hopefully I'm saying that correctly, it's a Jewish festival commemorating the survival of the Jews, who in the 5th century BCE were marked for death by their Persian rulers. So Purium is celebrated with food and charity and gatherings. And there's 4 observances of the holiday. One is to read the book of Esther. 2 is to give to charity to at least 2 needy individuals, and to share the gift of food with at least 1 friend. And lastly, to partake in a festive meal. On the 24th, we have Palm Sunday, which wraps up the energy update here. Palm Sunday recalls the story in Christian scripture of Jesus's entry into Jerusalem, right? Greeted by people waving palm branches. It's a reminder for Christians to welcome Jesus into their hearts and to be willing to follow him. And in ancient times, palm branches were symbolized, they symbolized goodness and victory. Palm Sunday, it commemorates the entrance of Christ into Jerusalem. And, these palm branches were placed in his path before his arrest on Holy Thursday and his crucifixion on Good Friday. And so it marks the beginning of the Holy Week, the final week of Lent. All right, let's get into the reading. I pulled some cards from it's one of my favorite decks. I actually want to get the regular version. This is the pocket. It's the Animal Spirit by the Wild Unknown. First cards that we have come out, we've got the crocodile with the owl, and I'm hearing this is an offering. There could be activations or insights that come through quiet time, that come through rest, that come through maybe even the dream realm. I feel like many are going to have their gifts awakened at this time or enhanced at this time. Clairvoyance, claircognizance, all of the clairs, honestly. This is energy. The owl is this energy of pure presence. It's trusting and is secure. And it's also energy of abundance. I just keep getting it. It's like there's gifts coming through, but they come through this place of surrender, this 0 point, this energy of wisdom that comes through the silence is what this feels like to me. And then we've got the turtle with the fox in reverse. So I feel like many are going to be reevaluating their identity at this time. Noticing where perhaps you've been like fooling yourself or been a little, and I do feel like this is within, but it could also be noticing relationships in which are out of balance as well. And, we've been on this for quite some time. But with the turtle, I feel like this restores some peace. Um, Even if things seem like they're moving kind of slowly, I'd say just trust the process. Introspection, introspection, introspection. Yeah, the fox in reverse can be a wise teacher too. That comes in and shows you something about yourself or about others or about your relationships. Let's get some tarot messages or insights. Okay, we got the Four of Pentacles. Make sure you're staying open. She just seems a little closed off, and I feel like, okay, we got the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so this could be an energy of reciprocation or lack of reciprocation here. Somebody not giving you what you need, or feeling like perhaps you can't trust someone. I feel like this could be linked to some kind of trauma, maybe. Oh, okay. I feel like this could be a pattern for some of you where you're a little closed off. And with this fox energy, I do feel like this is in a relationship where you don't feel safe giving, or you're not feeling like something is reciprocated. And so you close off. You close off your energy. Just remember that what you put out comes back to you. You know, sometimes we do have to, the Fool on the bottom, take a risk and put ourselves out there. But, you know, if there's certain relationships that got you feeling some type of way, I would definitely do some introspection, see what comes up. Don't be too rash. With all this fiery energy, there could definitely be an opportunity for you to be a little rash. And you know, with fire comes, you know, a potential for anger. So just make sure that you're staying level-headed, and make sure that you're putting out the energy of that which you want to receive back. And, you know, if you find still after doing introspection that you're not being received, or you know, the relationships or a relationship that you're not feeling like there is balance there, like you know, one side is giving more than the other, and so if that's the case, maybe you do want to close off some. But definitely make sure, yeah, look, make sure that you're doing some introspection. Make sure you're going within. Remember, it's as above, so below. So if we're manifesting some, you know, relationships that are off balance, how can you restore some balance within yourself? And, you know, sometimes that does mean falling back from certain relationships. And you don't always have to, like, completely, like, obliviate the relationship to fall back from it some. You can just kind of put some boundaries up. You can just, you know what I mean? Like, you can slow down relationships for the most part, especially, like, friendships, without completely cutting them off. As for relationships, you might actually find that, you know, maybe you discover some new ways to deal with this or to fix this. You know, it depends on the relationship, depends on the person, obviously, but there is this feeling of imbalance here and some new ideas that could come in if you take the time for some introspection that could help you to deal with this. Okay, so just make sure that you're keeping your cool and that you're really thinking things through. Look, we got the Three of Swords, which flew out on the floor, which tells me it's in reverse. So this is about healing from some heartstrings. Heartstrings is always the word that comes through with this card. It's like something's pulling at your heartstrings, and you're feeling a need to recover from this, right? A need to heal some of this. For some of you, what my guides are bringing me to now is the sacral, and even the solar plexus could be a bit out of balance. So I would definitely recommend, if this is you, go to your nearest energy healer as soon as you get a chance, and get some energy rebalancing done. You can also do like some guided meditations for balancing the specifically the sacral chakra and the solar plexus, your place of personal power and of desires, and your sexual center. Okay, for some of you, this is some sexual trauma. For others, it's learning to take your power back, learning to build new healthy friendships and relationships that are more in alignment with who you're becoming. Ooh, I like that. So what can you do? You can place yourself more around people, places, situations that are in alignment with who you want to be. And you know, they say if you want to become a millionaire, hang around with 5 millionaires, right? And likewise, you know, if you're hanging around with 5, you know, addicts, chances are you might become an addict. So who you put yourself around is really important, and I feel like that's what this is speaking to. Okay, so what are you surrounding yourself with? What does your energy field look like? Where do you want to go? And what relationships do you need to adjust or maneuver or set some boundaries or fall back from, or, you know, so that you can, and on the bottom, perfect, we got the King of Cups. This is emotional balance, emotional stability. And it being the king of this energy, it's about taking action. The masculine principle asks you to take some action. Okay. Let's get a couple affirmations, and I'll get, actually I'm going to get a self-care oracle first of all for the collective, for the second quarter moon. Thank you. We got sleep. If you're feeling the need to get some extra rest, do so, because I do feel like a lot of these activations are going to come through the sleep stage, the dream realm. You may also want to write down your dreams at this time with all this Piscean energy. We got aromatherapy. You guys, aromatherapy is so potent. Read some of the studies on aromatherapy, and this also could help you with your other senses. Your what is the one where the Claire with the sense, the smell? I can't think of what it is, but you know, the more that we give energy to our other senses, the more we inspire them to grow. And the sense of scent is very, very powerful. It's a lot more powerful probably than we've given credit to it in the past. Let's get an affirmation to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for hitting that like button. It really does help a lot. Drop into the comments. Let me know how you enjoyed this reading, how this resonated for you. We got every day I focus on what is important. Every day I focus on what is important. So I feel like there is a potential to, you know, allow certain matters that aren't very important take the lead here. So just make sure that you're like doing introspection, making sure that what you are putting your focus on, where you're placing your attention, is where, you know, the importance is, where your priorities lie. And then we got, I choose to take a higher perspective and widen my views. Ooh, I choose to take a higher perspective and widen my views. Thanks again for liking, sharing. Do make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified of upcoming videos. Love you guys. Later.